Bill Maher is famous for his sharp opinions and fearless comedy, never shying away from topics that make others uncomfortable or spark heated debate. Over the years, he's built a reputation as someone who isn't afraid to challenge the status quo, especially when it comes to the most sensitive subjects. Religion in particular is one of his favorite targets, not because he wants to offend, but because he believes that questioning is essential for growth and understanding. Maher's comedy often revolves around the big questions. Why do we believe what we believe? How do our beliefs shape our actions and our society? He uses humor as a tool to question beliefs, no matter how sacred they are. For Maher, comedy isn't just about getting laughs. It's about making people think, even if it means making them a little uncomfortable in the process. Maher's approach is simple. If your faith is strong, it should survive a few jokes. He believes that laughter can be a sign of confidence, not disrespect. In his view, being able to laugh at ourselves and our beliefs is a sign of maturity and open-mindedness. He's a rationalist. He wants facts, not just stories. Maher often points out that while stories can inspire, facts are what help us understand the world as it really is. He encourages his audience to look beyond tradition and ask tough questions, even if the answers are uncomfortable. That's why he pokes fun at religious traditions, asking, does this really make sense? Is this belief based on evidence or just on habit and history? Through satire, he invites people to examine their own assumptions and see things from a new perspective. Whether you agree with him or not, he's consistent in his curiosity. Maher doesn't just criticize for the sake of it, he genuinely wants to understand why people hold the beliefs they do, and he's willing to have tough conversations to get to the heart of the matter. Today, we're focusing on what happens when Maher turns his comedic lens on Mormonism. This faith, with its unique history and traditions, offers plenty of material for both thoughtful questions and lighthearted jokes. He's revisited this topic many times, fascinated by its unique American origins. Mormonism, after all, is one of the few major religions to have started in the United States, and its story is deeply intertwined with American culture and history. Maher digs into its history, beliefs, and how it fits into modern society. He explores the stories, the rituals, and the controversies, always with an eye for what makes this faith both unique and, at times, puzzling to outsiders. His goal isn't just to provoke, but to spark real conversations about why people believe what they do. By challenging assumptions and encouraging debate, Maher hopes to inspire viewers to think more deeply about their own beliefs and the beliefs of others. So let's dive in. Just remember to keep an open mind and a sense of humor. After all, exploring big ideas doesn't have to be intimidating. Sometimes it can even be fun. Because sometimes, laughter is the best way to start a serious discussion. And who knows, you might just learn something new along the way. Maher loves the origin story of Mormonism, golden plates, an angel, and Joseph Smith. He jokes that it sounds like a Hollywood script, ancient writing, buried treasure, and a prophet with his face in a hat. The image of Smith translating with seer stones in a hat is comedy gold for Maher. He asks, if someone told this story today, would anyone believe it? For Maher, questioning these foundations is key. If the beginning seems unbelievable, what about the rest? He's not attacking believers, just challenging the story with a modern, skeptical eye. Maher isn't alone in his approach. He's in good company with the creators of South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, who have made a career out of using humor to tackle controversial topics. Their irreverent style has often sparked debate, but it's also opened up important conversations that might otherwise be too uncomfortable to have. And then there's the Book of Mormon musical, a Broadway sensation that takes on the story of the Mormon faith with both sharp wit and surprising empathy. The show doesn't just poke fun, it invites the audience to laugh, reflect, and even relate to the characters, no matter their background. Maher praises how these creators lay out the church's story in a straightforward, almost matter-of-fact way, allowing viewers to draw their own conclusions rather than forcing a particular viewpoint. The musical, he says, strikes a rare balance. It's a perfect mix of sharp critique and genuine warmth, never losing sight of the humanity at the heart of the story. What Maher admires most is that these works manage to question history and beliefs without resorting to cruelty or ridicule. They challenge ideas, not individuals. For him, it's about being honest and direct, but never cruel or dismissive. That's a crucial distinction in comedy and in conversation. Comedy, Maher believes, is a powerful tool. It opens doors to tough conversations that might otherwise stay closed. Laughter can break down barriers and make people more receptive to new perspectives. When people laugh together, they're more open to hearing new ideas, even those that challenge their beliefs or make them uncomfortable. Humor creates a safe space for difficult truths. That's why Maher points to shows like South Park and the Book of Mormon as models for how to talk about faith, religion, and even the most sensitive topics. In the end, Maher believes that humor is the best way to start a real honest conversation, one where everyone can laugh, think, and maybe even change their mind. Maher often highlights the LDS Church's complicated history, like polygamy and past racial policies. He points out that beliefs once considered divine can change, showing religion is shaped by people and culture. The Church's shift on race, for example, is proof to Maher that doctrines aren't set in stone. He's not digging up dirt, but asking how can any religion claim eternal truth if its rules change. Maher wants followers to know their history, warts and all. For him, honest reflection is the only way faith can grow stronger. It's not about blame, but understanding the journey. A faith that can face its past, he argues, is a faith worth having. Maher is vocal about religion's role in politics, especially the LDS Church's involvement in issues like same-sex marriage. He criticizes religious groups using their influence to shape laws for everyone, not just their members. For Maher, faith should guide personal lives, not public policy. He warns that mixing religion and politics breeds division and intolerance. His message: live and let live. Laws should be based on equality, not religious doctrine. At the core, he's calling for kindness, respect, and true separation of church and state. Why does Maher keep talking about religion? What drives him to keep bringing up these controversial topics, even when it makes people uncomfortable or sparks heated debates? Because it gets people talking too. When someone dares to address the big questions about faith, belief, and the stories we tell ourselves, it encourages others to join in. It's not just about making jokes, it's about starting conversations that might not happen otherwise. His humor breaks the ice on tough topics, opening space for real discussion. Comedy can be a powerful tool for lowering defenses, making it easier for people to share their own thoughts and listen to others, even when they disagree. In his film Religulous, he shows that all faiths have stories that sound strange to outsiders. By highlighting these stories, Maher invites us to see the similarities in our differences, and to recognize that every belief system has its own quirks and mysteries. Maher's point: if you question one religion's stories, you should be willing to question your own. It's about intellectual honesty, and the courage to examine what you believe, not just what others believe. Be willing to question your own. Self-reflection is at the heart of growth, and it's only by looking inward that we can truly understand why we hold certain beliefs. He's not out to destroy faith, but to encourage honest, thoughtful belief. Maher's goal isn't to mock for the sake of mocking, but to push us toward a more sincere, examined faith, whatever that may look like for each of us. Laughter, he says, helps us see our own assumptions. When we laugh at ourselves, we're more open to change, and more willing to admit when we might be wrong. Whether you love or hate Maher, he makes you think. He challenges us to confront our own ideas, and to see the world from a different perspective, even if just for a moment. In a divided world, talking and laughing about our differences matters. Open dialogue is the first step toward understanding, and humor can bridge gaps that seem impossible to cross. It's okay to ask questions, to be skeptical, and to find humor in the absurd. In fact, it's necessary. Curiosity and laughter are what keep us connected, even when we disagree. Maybe, if we can laugh together, we can find common ground. Humor reminds us that we're all human, all searching for meaning in our own ways. And maybe, just maybe, if we keep talking and keep listening, we can understand each other a little better, and build a world where our differences bring us closer, not further apart.